This game's not won on social media. This game's not won on telephones. This game is won with shoulder pads, helmets, mouth guards, and sweat. That's how the game is won.
To week 5 of the Bill Neese's Coach Show. I'm your host, Chip Hare. With us is head coach Bill Neese. The show is brought to you by Dick Lumpkins. Got a bump? Call Lump. Indians lose a tough game at Xenia on Friday night to a very good team. Coach, a lot of takeaways from that, I'm sure. But we knew Friday night going into the team that we played, they were good.
Definitely. As we approached the game, I think our entire, group, our football program in general, all knew that it was going to be a tough game. I think even last year, after we had played those guys, we knew the amount of people that were coming back. When you look at the boards that we have all around of who's got who back and who's returning what starters, those guys have a lot of starters back, and a lot of those starters had the MVL sticker on them, which means that they were MVL of either first team, second team, or honorable mention. So we knew it was going to be a rough night.
Coach, one of the things as you look at, it was a game where the first half, you look at the score, we were in a tough spot, 21-0. The second half, made some adjustments, came back and made it a little tougher for them on the defensive end. We were trying to brew some things and had some things going offensively, just couldn't quite get where we wanted. What was your takeaway from the first half? What adjustments did you make going into the second half as we were certainly playing much better in the second half?
Well, I thought defensively we just moved a couple things, not a whole lot. We just try to convince everybody that they needed to be playing a little harder, and I think as we came out in the second half, the whole point was that big plays generate enthusiasm. I've never seen anybody that was getting beat 21-0 have great enthusiasm about it. All right, it causes a little different atmosphere, and so it wasn't an atmosphere of doom and gloom, but yet it was an atmosphere of great joy. So what we had to do is we had to come back second half, and we had to just hope someone could hit that big play, could do something, could give us a little bit of spark. I thought we did that. We had a 3 and out, and then we had a turnover.
Nice interception.
And in both of those cases, one of the big drawbacks that we had in the evening, and it was a great lesson to be learned in how offense affects defense and vice versa, is that we had 5 3 and outs, and not only when you have 5 3 and outs does that affect everybody, but also the fact that it takes like 2-3 minutes off the clock, and defense barely had a chance to get back on. They did something good, and all of a sudden they're coming back down, and so I think that kind of went back and forth. The thing I was most proud of our team was the fact that as the game continued on and they scored the 28th point, we responded with a block punt, and we did some things that I am proud of our players in the fact that they were continuing to battle throughout the course of the evening when things were tough on them.
Well, the one thing about our teams throughout the years, regardless of what the score is, when we hit adversity, we fight through it, and there was no question we continued to battle and continue to fight throughout the night.
Yeah, it was they have a good scheme on offense and defense, and they played very physical, and it's not necessarily something that you can when you have somebody coming off the ball like that, and you have some people that can break some tackles and things like that, it's not necessarily a rah-rah magic potion that you can throw on it.
Right.
It's got to be something that's actually tangible, and we were doing that. We were battling, but again, we put ourselves in a hole quite a bit. I think we we missed a decent amount of blocks up front, and I think that defensively, we had 2 or 3 situations that I thought we were going to get off the field, and then we jumped off sides. And that's a double-edged sword. You want people to be aggressive, but on the other hand, there's got to be some form, some discipline in the aggression. So it was effective. It was affecting on both sides of the ball. What happened was a good night for them, bad night for us.
Well, the good news for the Indians is there was a lot of football to be played in this season, and we come back this week and at home at Alexander Stadium in a rivalry game. Another opportunity for us, not just to recover from Friday night, but again, an opportunity to play a rival that's just 10 miles up. We're playing for a trophy in a series called the Battered Helmet, and I know it'll be a big one for the Indians on Friday.
Definitely. We're looking forward to it, and we look forward to the rivalry with Sydney as well as we do the rivalry of playing Troy. And so this will be the Battered Helmet, and it's not the longest one, but pretty close to being the longest one. And over the course of the years, I still have a lot of older people in Piqua that tell me that that's the one. They don't. They don't. If you're from Piqua, you understand what I'm saying. That there's a little bit of a divide as to what's the real rival, and it's still maybe about 80-20. But you'll run into somebody, an older gentleman, that'll implore you to beat Sydney, and because they did back when they played and everything. So always interesting stories.
Well, certainly Friday night the story will be the Indians will look back to get back on their winning tracks. Let's talk about, though, Sydney and what they're going to look like this year. We've not played Sydney at Piqua for a couple different years because a couple years ago it was the COVID schedule and we were at their place. Last year just happened to be the schedule was at their place. So we're back at Alexander Stadium. What can the Indian fans expect to see from the Jackets?
Well, they've revamped a little bit with their offense. It'll be a little different look than we've seen. They switched some coaches around, and defensively they're going to be fairly the same. A similar defense to what Xenia plays. A lot of interior blitzing, but although Xenia doesn't blitz as much as they do, but a lot of interior pressure. And then offensively, running a little bit more. It's kind of a spread offense with a little bit of a wing T flavor. So they got some guards pulling, they got some people down blocking and coming out. But in the meantime, they still have the screen game that they always use. They still have their boundary pass game that they use quite a bit. So it's got a little bit of flavor from in the past years, but a little bit of new stuff.
Well, they're coming off actually a 2-game winning streak. They have come off beating Greenville and then beating Butler.
Yeah.
So they're obviously feeling very good about themselves and what they're doing.
And each win in a completely different fashion. You're looking at 2 weeks ago they won a game 49-48, and then they come back and win a game 12-6. And so they went into 2 overtimes against Greenville, and Greenville decided to go for 2 on the second series and missed it, and then they come back to Vandalia Butler and jump out to a 12-0 lead on them, and then just held off. So yeah, they've got two different aspects of it. They played Tip well in the second game of the season, and then Bell Fountain's, from what I understand, Bell Fountain's a very strong team, and they got beat by Bell Fountain the first game.
Yeah, they were up actually against Tip in the first half, and Tip came back in the second half to pull it out. So we expect to see some. They always have good athletes, good football players that can cause some trouble, some speed in particular. So I'm sure we'll see those guys
exactly
this Friday night. Coach, we talk about people that have made an impact each week on the players portion of the program. The 2 guys that we're featuring this week is Ethan Wright and Jackson Trombley. 2 guys that made their impact and footprint into the program differently, but yet still made their footprint into what Piqua football is.
Exactly. And both of those guys, those are 2 of my guys from back in my U.S. history days also. It seems like this whole class, the whole senior class, I'm pretty sure I had them for U.S. history. And starting off with Jackson, who's just been outstanding, and came in as a freshman and was kicking, and played 2 sports, and then his sophomore year devoted just to football, and went out and got himself better, went out and found a kicking coach that really has done great for him. It was able to formulate that back into our program, so we weren't, instead of pulling each other in different directions, we were all working together on it. I think that was one of the big keys. And at that point now, he's probably, I believe he's one of the best kickers in the state of Ohio. And I'm looking forward to see him kicking, quite a bit for the next 4 years on Saturdays.
Yeah, Jackson, you've said through the years, the special teams is really important. It really can make or break you. Having a guy like that on their sideline can really give you a real advantage.
It does, and now this year as a punter too. It's been amazing. With the fact that he's punting also, and he also is now kicked a field goal. We get a couple opportunities and stuff. So as the years have gone on, he's become more than just the kicker and the extra point guy, adding some stuff, and let's not forget he was the first kicker that we've ever had that received a bomb award for an outstanding tackle on a play.
Not afraid to get his nose in there.
Not afraid to get his nose in there. No, sir.
Ethan Wright, another guy who's made an imprint on this program. You can just tell when he is around the guys, he enjoys them, the camaraderie with them, a brotherhood, as they use that cliche, but yet a guy that I know has given you a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for the years.
Has, and never misses practice, been here every day, but not just doesn't come and say, okay, I'm here, now I'm entitled to something. He comes, he gets involved, he's involved in our special teams, he's a backup on a couple teams, he's been on our kickoff team, so he's got live action in games, and he's deserving of it. He's a guy that came in and, like I said, works his butt off and doesn't hide in the corner somewhere, but really gets out and gets after it and everything, and we appreciate what he does. In the weight room, he puts effort in the weight room. He puts effort in everywhere, and he's a very likable guy, and I enjoy having him on the team.
Yeah, Ethan. You use the word likable. He's the guy that's likable in the locker room, in the hallways, and a guy that you can't have a program like this without people like Ethan.
Yeah, and not every senior is going to play as much as they want to, but he's a guy that's
handles it well.
Yeah, handles what And tonight during our meeting we talked a little bit about whatever your role is, no matter what it is. Be the best at what it is. If you're a third down guy, if you're a second team kickoff, be ready. You may need that. They may come up. Friday night we had to use a timeout for a special teams replacement that we somebody got hurt and we couldn't find the backup. You got all those people on the sideline and this and this and this. So it's important that you're that guy that's ready to go.
Coach, we appreciate again your time, and we know Friday night will be a big one. It'll be again Alexander Stadium, kickoff at 7 p.m. Here. Again, get your tickets online. We encourage you to also print them off or put them on your phone so we can come in, we can scan them right in. There will be a QR code at the gate. Again, kickoff at 7 p.m. The game will be again streamed on the Indian Nation station and be put on the Spectrum Channel 5 this coming weekend. Coach, we wish you luck as we go after the battered helmet.
Thank you.
Yeah. We are going to come back for part 2 of the program. We're going to meet Jackson and Ethan, and they're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to be an Indian. We'll be right back. Welcome to part 2 of the Bill Nieses Coaches Show. The players portion, these gentlemen beside me are going to give us their name and the position they play.
I'm Jackson Trombley. I'm a kicker and punter.
My name's Ethan Wright. I'm a wide receiver and a middle linebacker.
Ethan, I'm going to let you hold it for now. Talk a little bit about your being a senior. What's that like for you to be a part of a program that you've been an instrumental part of? You've been a part of it. Is the off season and the practices and the games for you? What's it like to come out on a Friday night and represent the Indians?
It feels really awesome. Being a part of this program for however long I've been a part of it, it just feels like it's a part of me sometimes, and it feels great coming out of that tunnel on Friday nights.
You play for a program that's obviously storied and has a lot of tradition to it. But I also see you, Ethan, with guys that you play with that you have relationships with, the guys that you're friends with, and what does that mean that you get to spend time with those guys in the locker room and on the field and that bond? Just kind of explain what that is for you.
I feel like having bonds with other teammates just makes it feel like less of a game and more like a pastime. Like I have a family that's going to come and they're going to support me and help me push through my tough times.
Jackson, for you, you've been a part of this program, obviously, and an integral part on your end from a kicker standpoint, and you've been the special teams guy, and you've had an opportunity here this year to kick a few field goals for the Indians. That is a very special position. Kicking, it's not just something you go out there and you do. You have to put a lot of time and effort into it, a lot of stuff that you put in the off season.
Yes, sir.
What's that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly training every single day. I mean, I'm up in the weight room during lifting. I'll go out there and practice my swing and stuff. On Sundays, I train with this guy named Cornblue. He really puts me getting to work and making me better, but really all that just makes me better on the field.
Kicking is such an art. When you talk about kicking and all the things that special teams is, Coach Neese talks a lot about special teams. What do you find that you really have to mentally prepare yourself in the kicking game for that?
I really just think, I'm going to kick it, make it through. I think extra points.
Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, extra points is probably more nerve-wracking than a field goal. It's just because you have to have the extra point. Miss the extra point could be the matter of a game-winning extra point. So.
Well, you don't miss a lot, that's for sure. We've gotten that out, and let's talk a little about the season for you guys. We're coming off obviously a tough loss, but we're looking to get back into the swing here as we take on the Jackets in a rivalry game. You've been a part of it. What's it feel like to be out there?
It's awesome.
Kind of a game?
I mean, I love playing our rivals. It's just another really big game we like to have. So
different feel to it, isn't it? Yeah. Ethan, for you, talk a little about what it's like for you to going into a big game like this. Obviously, we're looking to get into the bounce back step. But how important is this game Friday, knowing that it's picked with Sydney and it's one that you talk about years down the road?
I feel like this game, it's going to be a tone setter for the rest of the season, to come out and beat our rivals after coming off of a big loss. And then after that, we can just go week by week.
Football's going to end at some point in time for you guys. You're going to graduate in June, and you're going to be moving on to the next phase of your life. Ethan, talk a little bit about what are some of the things that you're looking to do post-high school graduation.
I want to enroll at the Ohio State University and study physical therapy.
Now that's interesting because your sister goes to Bowling Green, and so no interest in Bowling Green. We're going to go separate ways, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jackson, for you, I know you. I've seen some things out there on social media, on the Twitter, that you're looking to play some college football, and have been in some visits here. What are you looking at? I think we were at Miami most recently.
Yes.
What are you thinking about doing? What are some of your interests?
I'm really just looking for a college that wants me. I don't really want to go to a college that just wants me as a walk-on. But, I could take that as well. So any college that really has a business opportunity, business athletic opportunity as well. Other than that.
What is the recruiting process been like for you? Because you go to these camps and you've been to several different schools and looking and just not that you need to speak to one specific school, but talk a little bit about your experience at Miami. What's that process like for you?
Well, it's really hard for kickers and punters and people like that. It's because they're always the last resort.
Right.
Everyone just doesn't.
Everyone wants the quarterback and the running back and those skill guys.
And when I talked about that walk-on, is they use all those scholarships for all the big time players, and then they give the walk-ons to the kickers. But over time, they'll get that full scholarship. But it's tough. You really gotta put a lot of work into it to get a hold of some people.
Be remiss if we didn't look in the camera and say hi, Grandpa. Right?
Hi, Grandpa.
Jackson. That's another one. Yeah. Guys, we appreciate you guys being here. All the best to you guys as you're moving forward, not just this week, but the rest of the season. We know we've got a lot to play for, and there's going to be a lot of exciting things coming from the Indians the rest of the season.
Yes, sir.
And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Just a reminder that the Indians will be back at home in the Battle of the Battered Helmet. The Indians have dominated this series, but it starts all over again this Friday. You will be able to catch the game on the YouTube Indian Nation Station channel right after the game following. Kickoff, though, however, is at 7 p.m. You can get your tickets online on the Pickle City Schools website, or there will be a QR code at the gate. We do encourage you to get those tickets, print them off, or put them on your phone prior to coming to the game. For Ethan and Jackson, I'm your host, Chip Hare. We will see you next week on the Bill Neese's Coaches Show.